Welcome to Whiskey Wobble Sportscast. This is your host, Chop.
Gator.
Chris.
Blake.
And joining us this week is Big Rob.
Big Rob in the house.
Fuck you, Rob.
Nice.
Cool, we got Rob back with us. That's good. Rob, you excited about this upcoming fight between Cowboy and McGregor?
And this fight coming up here in a couple of weekends is going to be sick. It's what
So-
everybody's been waiting on.
Fight sports.
So two things. One,
Sports fight.
they brought up Cerrone taking a dive, and he said, I would rather fight for free.
Yeah.
In other words, like, dude, you can't pay me enough to dive. Like, I would rather fight for free and not have to take a dive.
Dude, Cowboy's going to go hard. He's going
And-
to go fucking hard.
McGregor, so what we've got here is we've got an aging Cowboy who's, I think I can say this with confidence. Cowboy is my favorite fighter of all time. We have an aging Cowboy that's riding off into the sunset, so to speak. And we have Conor McGregor who only fights super fights. Right?
He's like an IRA reject.
And,
But it's not a super fight.
and, oh, it is. It is.
This one's a super fight. It's
Dude,
quite possibly two Hall of
Cowboy's
Famers.
going-
I mean, you
Cowboy's
can
going
say
in-
Absolutely, bar none. Yeah.
both these guys are going into the
ballot.
UFC Hall of Fame. Not
First
that that's
ballot.
that great of a feat, I guess. But both these guys are going into the UFC Hall of Fame for sure. And I think this time both of them deserve it. Cowboy has fought more times in the UFC, I think, than anybody. And I think he also has
Yeah.
more wins in the UFC than anybody.
Yeah, most knockouts by head kick, I think.
Dude, it's
Like,
insane.
Most
Yes.
cage time.
He's never won a belt, but he's got several records. And then you've got Conor McGregor, who's the first to hold two belts, right?
Cerrone's like 36.
Yeah.
He's been fighting for like 18 years,
I
bro.
think he's 37, dude. Yeah.
McGregor hadn't won a fight
36.
since 16.
36. Cerrone's
36?
36. McGregor's 31. So they're actually not that far apart. They're both same weight class now. McGregor started in featherweight, but moved up
145.
to lightweight and then eventually
155.
welterweight, which is where they're fighting is at welterweight. Both of them at 170.
Yeah.
And dude, McGregor is fucking jacked for like at 170. He's
That's what he
huge.
should walk around
But he's
as.
also like 5'4".
And Cerrone is like naturally a bigger guy,
Yeah.
but
He's skinny.
with
Well,
the
this
dude,
is
I feel like the bigger McGregor gets, the more knockout power he's gonna have, right?
See, I don't know about
No,
that.
he's gonna
This is
be
only
slower.
His third fight at 170.
You trade that power in for speed for sure in any given fighter, right? Like then the more jacked he gets, he'll have more knockout power if he connects, but he's going to be slower. He's going to telegraph it more. You know, there's other factors there that'll play into that, not just raw power. You know,
Yeah.
And you got to think, too, like, all right, it's like a karate match and like a wrestling match, you know? Like, Cerrone's a really good wrestler.
Well, and I feel like I saw
Cerrone's an
Cerrone.
underrated, like really good wrestler.
Yeah.
I feel like I saw Cerrone fight 3 times last year. Did McGregor even fight last year?
No,
He
No,
did fight
2018.
last year, didn't he?
No, 2018 was his last fight. So there's that component too. You know, Cerrone's still in the
yeah,
fighter's
October
mind.
2018 was Khabib.
Oh, wow.
Cerrone's still in the fighter's mindset, and you know,
Well,
fucking
cage rust.
douchebag hasn't really like had a real fight outside of trying to hit an old guy at a bar in over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna say he won that fight. He threw one punch. He's the only one that threw one punch in that fight, and nothing happened after.
But
The
that
old
didn't
man
think-
ate it and was like, I've been hit harder.
And I still ain't drinking your whiskey.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hadn't won a fight in a while. One thing that is interesting, so you can't take away from Conor the knockout power. You can't. Everyone knows he has it. Cerrone has the potential to knock him out, but that's probably not how it's going to go down, right? And he's also got the pride to stand with him and try, which I hope he doesn't do. I hope to God
He needs to
doesn't.
wrap him up, get him on the ground, put him in some
Dude,
crazy leg hold.
And I think if
Yeah.
Cerrone takes McGregor to the ground, he can just ground and pound the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
can beat him on the
McGregor's
ground.
talking about his ground game and how he's been working on that and working on it.
It doesn't matter.
I think Cerrone's got him. If it goes to the
You know,
ground, Cerrone's got
You
him.
can't work on your ground game for 2 years.
He's
and then,
definitely got the advantage in that because he has some more experience with it.
So something else that's interesting about this fight is you've got Conor McGregor with knockout power and bad cardio. And I don't want to say like, dude, his cardio is obviously better than mine. I'm just saying he tends to slow down in the later rounds, right?
Yeah.
Conor McGregor is an explosive fighter that knocks people the fuck out. Yeah.
By the
Now,
way, in the ring
on-
is a different kind of cardio. And like I said, he ain't been in the ring in over a fucking year. So it's going to be even more so prevalent. And he's been working out a lot, so he's going to be heavier and slower also. I think we're going to see that.
And he's going to be focused on getting big. So on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have Donald Cerrone, who is notorious for fighting, like starting fights slow, right? Like he builds his attack. It gets harder and heavier. And by the time you get into the 4th and 5th rounds, Cerrone's a bad motherfucker, still right there, hitting you with everything he's got, and you're gassed.
Yeah.
That plays well into Cerrone's corner.
Yeah, but here's an aspect that I don't think people are taking into account. What if he plays Cerrone's game and starts out slow with him, and that way he can make it into the later rounds.
Won't.
Because if Cowboy takes him into those deeper rounds of that deep water, dude, everybody knows Conor gasses.
If McGregor comes out slow, it's not going to be calculated like that. It's going to be because he's unsure of himself because it's been a while since he's been in the ring.
And I don't think McGregor changes his game for anybody. If I'm being real, he fights the same fight every time. He's just really good at it.
Yep. And he comes out hard and fast every fight. Like every fight, he comes out with some crazy ass shit.
First one or two.
Yeah.
And by the third, he's like, and he comes out and he's sluggish, and that's when he usually
If it goes to
caught.
championship rounds, I give it to Cerrone
And
for
I
sure.
guarantee if he comes out sluggish in the third, he's going to get taken down.
Yeah.
But if Cerrone tries to stand and bang with him, he might not make it to 3.
He may not.
So right now in Vegas, looks like McGregor is negative 300. So you would have to bet $300 to win $100 if you bet on McGregor, right?
Yikes.
Cerrone is plus 250. So if you bet 100, you're going to make 250 if you win. Dude, this might be... I think Cerrone getting knocked out in the first round is entirely possible. And it's entirely possible. Same with the second round. Look at what happened to Jose Aldo, right? We know that McGregor can go in there and just knock him out.
Yeah.
But if Cerrone doesn't, if he can swallow his pride, don't stand in front of him, take it into the later rounds, take him down to the ground, pound him. Dude, I think this would be a good one to bet on the underdog. This is one of those fights that it makes sense to bet on the underdog.
So
I'm not saying it's a better bet. I'm just saying if you were going to bet on the underdog, this is a good one to bet
Well,
on.
I'm not going to throw $300 on McGregor to make it, for $100.
But I might throw 100 on Cerrone
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
make 350.
Dude, everybody in Vegas is betting on his ass. I mean, it's going to happen. But, at the same time, if he gets slept in that first or second round, that's it.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about Connor's cardio, though. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
like his cardio has been bad, even at lighter
His
weights.
ground game, his cardio.
And it was especially he was really sluggish when he was when he was fighting Mayweather. He went up to 170 for that fight. He walked around at 170 in that fight, and he was sluggish. It was a longer fight, but I just see him get the weight on, and he can hit harder, but he can't go as long.
What are the chances of retirement for either fighter post-fight? And pending results.
That's where I was going to go next. If what happens after the fight, okay? If McGregor wins, he's going to keep hunting these big cards to bring in a lot of people. Jorge Masvidal has said that he would take a Conor McGregor fight over a title fight.
Yeah.
Dude, Masvidal would murder him.
I think so too.
Yeah. It'd be awesome though.
But so that's a thing. I think, and Masvidal's got a lot of pull right now. Like a lot of people like Masvidal.
Yeah.
So maybe they'd fight for the bad motherfucker belt or whatever.
Yeah.
But is Conor a bad motherfucker and he hadn't won a fight?
Dude, if he knocked out Masvidal, he would be for sure.
Fuck, dude.
And that would be a huge payday for both of those guys. That's probably what's going to happen. If McGregor wins, he's probably going to fight Masvidal.
It'd have to be quick, and it'd have to be in the first 5
Because
seconds.
if he beats Cowboy, he doesn't necessarily deserve a title shot. Cowboy's not at the top of his game. He just lost to Justin Gaethje, so
I think because Cerrone is who he is, if he loses, I don't see him retiring.
I don't either.
But if he wins, I could see him walk out on it.
But if Conor loses,
There's not a belt in hand. There's not a belt in hand. He can go out winning probably one of the biggest fights of his career.
I do want to see Cowboy ride off into the sunset a fucking winner.
Man,
that would.
but he's not going to stop there. If he
I don't think
McGregor,
I don't think his pride will let him go either way. I do see him stopping though. Motherfucker.
If he beats
my
McGregor,
age.
then shouldn't he fight Masvidal?
No.
Ooh. Get the fuck. That's a wild card, bro.
Man,
That's a wild card right
I
there.
wouldn't like.
Cerrone has one of the things that makes him great is he has this capability. Like he can beat the greats for sure. It's that he has the any given Sunday mentality.
Absolutely.
Like he can win. He could also go lose to a fucking nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's like a lot of my favorite sports teams right now. Like
That guy was
Dude, he beat. So he lost to Gaethje, but before that, he lost to Tony Ferguson before that.
yeah.
So he's got 2, but that's like 2 of the elite, right? Like these are the top
Bad
motherfuckers.
motherfucker.
and did he beat Stylebender after
And then
that?
before that, he beat Ally Aquinta.
I thought after that
Yeah.
he beat Ally Quinta.
So Cerrone's not a
He beat
not
the
a
brakes
bitch,
off
dude.
Quinta.
Yeah,
Also,
No.
so one thing I've heard about Cerrone multiple times throughout the years is that he definitely tends to compete at the level of his competition. So, like, he can go into a bit like, fighting some bitch and just being like, oh, whatever, and go in and just fight and end up, like, kind of doing poorly. But then he'll fight an elite fighter and he'll train and be, like, in peak form and perform much better than he would in, like, a lower tier fight,
I think
I guess
he'll never-
Masvidal. After this fight, Masvidal's the obvious next choice, right? Like you don't want to go for the belt because both these guys are going to get their ass kicked. You just you throw them at the bad motherfucker and they fight for the bad motherfucker belt.
so let's play.
Because that's what this fight is, right? Neither one of them are champions. This is just 2 bad motherfuckers that are fighting each other.
It's an exhibition fight for sure. But so let's go the other way. If McGregor loses and Cerrone wins, does McGregor retire?
No.
He should.
Hard no.
He won't, but he should.
And it'll be washed up. Everybody say he's washed up, but I don't think he retires.
See, and I think if Cerrone wins, that's his chance for retirement. I don't think he'll do it if he loses.
Even if he loses, he's getting paid.
Yeah, McGregor's going to keep fighting as long as he gets paid.
He's a draw.
But who's he
Either
going to
way.
fight after McGregor? If McGregor loses this fight,
it'd
after
be
that,
bad.
where does he go?
Well, he's lost 3 straight.
it'd be
4
devastating
straight.
for his career if he lost. It'd be fucking horrible.
Yeah, I think he might not retire right after the fight, and then he might get retired because there's nobody left to fight. Masvidal doesn't want to fight a losing
Yeah,
McGregor. Like he's going to
yeah,
want to fight Cerrone.
He's the new gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's your wild card.
I could have called that for McGregor's career. Honestly, I could have been like, he might have some crazy success in the beginning. That he's going to end up just being a gatekeeper.
If he doesn't let his pride get ahead of him, and he doesn't even do that.
All right, so let's do a round table. You have to call it, and no bullshit. Just all we're doing is we're picking the winner of the fight, the round, and the method. Okay,
You got to stand by it.
no explaining. No, and I'm not talking about who you would bet for or who you like more. I'm saying who do you think is going to win? Call it.
Now
Three
you got
three rounds.
Five
Rounds.
Yeah, it's
5
5
rounds.
rounds because it's a main event.
Oh, it's a main event. 5 rounds. Okay.
So 5. Yeah, so you consider
5
that.
minute rounds or 5
I'll-
3-minute rounds.
Well, you called it. You show.
All right. Cerrone in the 4th round submission.
McGregor, 2nd round knockout.
I'm gonna say Cerrone TKO 4th round.
Ooh, I like it.
McGregor, 1st round TKO.
That's like
I was also Cerrone fourth round TKO.
Yeah,
He
I'm
has to
seeing
get him
that
in the
ground
1 or
and
2.
pound, and Connor
He
can't
has
handle
to
it.
get him in the 1 or 2. If Cerrone brings him into that deep water in those later rounds, I don't see fucking homeboy getting it.
Connor's gonna be on his back.
You never know though. I
Second,
watched
third, fourth
Mayweather.
round.
You get choked out, bro.
I watched Mayweather punch him in the face for 10 rounds.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
So real quick before we wrap, let's talk about all the other fights on this card. Holly Holm is fighting Raquel Pennington,
That'll be good.
that's fun.
and the rest
like
is
Holly
pretty
Holm.
much nobody. Ferreira Anthony Pettis, that's cool.
Pettis' comeback.
Yeah, after that, there's not really much anybody.
Because I really don't know much about Ferrer, so I'll go fucking Pettis.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be stoked.
First fight of 2020. Let's get it on.
For sure. The Whiskey and Whiskers website is up. It's whiskeyandwhiskerspodcast.com. If you'd like to support the show, there's a link to our Patreon account with pledges starting at just $1. At whiskeyandwhiskerspodcast.com, you can also find links to the show no matter how you choose to listen. iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and your favorite podcasting apps. And there's links to our feeds for social media on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Again, that's whiskeyandwhiskerspodcast.com. We have new episodes every Monday, and we'll see you next week.